Hello, I'm Professor Matthew Rotella, and in this tutorial, I'm going to be going over modeling from reference. I'm going to be teaching you how to set up your reference imagery in this tutorial, and then the next tutorial, I'm going to be actually modeling said object from reference. So I'm going to show you how to set up your reference imagery like so. What you want is you want just these nice straight on images of whatever object that you're going to model, and you want to set them up in a sort of crosshair so that you can effectively trace your object from the images. And then, yeah, in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to go from your images to your finished object, which you can see if I go to my orthographs, basically does exactly that. It just traces the image. Now, there are some places where it deviates because the actual photos will have perspective, uh, sort of, coming into play here, where everything sort of gets flattened when it comes to the actual model itself. Uh, anyway, yeah, here we go. I'll show you how to set everything up. I'm going to be starting from scratch here. And now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to import image planes, which you'll find under the View tab. Now, you don't want to do it here in your perspective view because this will lock it to your perspective camera, and that's not going to be what you want for that. That's something that's very useful for doing camera matching, but not for setting up your orthographs in world space. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to go to all of your various orthographic for view, basically, which you can access just by pressing the spacebar, which is what I just did. There's also a little symbol over here on the side if you want to like click on it, whatever makes you happy. But yeah, I'll just spacebar it up and then hover over the view that I want, and then I'll hit spacebar again. And uh, now what I'll do is I'll go to view, like I said, image plane, import image, and then I'll go tcan top, no lid, open. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in my bottom orthograph, which by default you'll see, top, front, side. That bottom is not one of our default views. So what you're going to have to do is go to orthographic, new, and then bottom. And mine is bottom 2 because I previously had an object in this scene named bottom. Uh, but yeah, then once again, view, image plane, import image, and then tcan bottom, open. And I'm not going to be looking through my bottom orthograph as often as my top, so I'm going to go back to orthograph and switch this to top again, because you'll see that if I were to leave it at bottom, then bottom now replaces my top square when I go back to my foreview, which I'll be looking through my foreview quite a bit when modeling. Uh, so anyway, yeah, orthographic top. Anyway, and now I'll put in my front view, and then front is really all I'm going to need because this object is square. So I'll go front, no lid, and open. All right. Now, what needs to happen is I want to be modeling to scale. And right now, these are not to scale. Also, what needs to happen is I'm going to want to label these. So I'll name this like top reference, because otherwise, when you want to turn these on and off, depending, you're not going to want to be fumbling around. And then this is going to be bottom reference, or you could call it like bottom IMG or BIMG, whatever makes you happy. Front or just you could just abbreviate to ref, whatever. But let me see. I'll put this up with the other cameras, and then I'll select all these by pressing Shift click, and then Control G. I'll put them all in their own reference group. That way, if I want to turn my reference off, I can just select this, and I have this one toggle by pressing the H key to turn my reference on and off. But anyway, we're going to be wanting to model to scale, so I'm going to want to put something that is to scale in here. Now I know the general measurements. Now I did use a measuring tool, but still these measurements aren't exact. But I know my general measurements are 9.5 high by 10.5 width and 10.5 depth. Now these are centimeters, which is what I measured in also in the real life. And I'm probably going to want to name this like tcan, because this cube will become my tcan. Don't want to get things lost. And now I'm going to scale and align my reference to this cube that I made. So first of all, I'll do this view, which again, just to switch between these views, it's just hover over whichever one you want and press spacebar. And alright, so I see my blue line that is what will become my can. And I'm going to line things up. And I did shoot these on a tripod that I had level, but obviously we're crooked here. It's pretty easy to tell. But I was shooting on, but this was sitting on an uneven table, which was sitting on an uneven floor. So there's still some adjustments to be made here. So I'm going to rotate it, but what could be good to do is to get this generally aligned and then move the pivot for my image here. And that way we're rotating from down below here. And it's going to be a little finicky, it looks like. And let's see. Looks like it could stand to be a little wider also, and we're still a little crooked. So we'll scale this guy up, and we're bleeding over here, not going over far enough here. So again, I'll rotate, pressing the E key to switch to my rotation tool, and the R key to switch to my scale tool. And it looks like we're pretty straight there, and pretty straight there, and pretty straight there. Yeah, that looks good. And I took these with a 17 megapixel camera, which they're cropped so that there's less like useless stuff hanging out here, just so there isn't as much bulky stuff in my scene. And let's see, I'm going to scale the top and the bottom together for right now, and then we'll go from there. Let's go to my top view here. Get it down in. Let me see, I'm going to hide my bottom image for now. Oh, this one I still have. Top. And you can see we're a little off. Rotate, same as the other guy. get things generally lined up, which again, what I might do is move my pivot here to the edge of it. So I can get that more correct. And we're almost there over there. Make sure you scale uniformly when scaling your images, otherwise you're going to be modeling something that's weirdly skewed, and nobody needs that. And I can tell still a little off kilter. But that'll do. Let me select my object. Seems my perspective might have might be stretching things a little bit here. Like I might have been a little bit off, not totally dead on when I took this picture. But if something is a little bit off, just be sure to commit to like one part of it and then just keep things symmetrical, just so that like you make sure that you're shaping things right, and then go from there. And then I'll align my bottom reference too. And actually, I'll do this later. I don't need to worry about my bottom reference for now, because basically you get the idea. Now my reference is lined up to scale, giving me a crosshair to start modeling from, and yeah, that'll wrap things up for this one, and I'll start modeling in the next tutorial. So keep it locked, stay tuned, join me next time, and have a good day, or I'll see you in a second, I guess, if you're going from one to the next, which would make sense. Signing off.